Hey listeners, welcome back to St. Mike's Science with your hosts Morgan and Taylor.
Hey Morgan, I have a joke to share. How do you know when your pony's sick?
How?
It gets a little hoarse. I get it. But in all seriousness, I saw a BuzzFeed article today that said in 2002 a group of researchers located the smallest living organism, an archaean on hydrothermal vents in Iceland that's only 400 nanometers long.
That's right, you were telling me about that. They're called nanoarchaeum ecritons, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's where the joke was from. Nanoarchaeum ecritons means little writing archaean.
How'd you know that?
I took Latin in high school. So for our listeners that don't know, the domain archaea have some pretty neat characteristics that allow them to survive in extreme environments. Since nano were isolated from hydrothermal vents, it is safe to assume that they're thermophiles that have strong S layers that may prevent the denaturation of their proteins. Taylor, what was the temperature of the hydrothermal vent?
Well, scientists figured out that in culture, the cells grew best between 75 degrees Celsius and 98 degrees Celsius, or about 167 to 208 degrees Fahrenheit. I can't even imagine surviving in a temperature that warm. We get first-degree burns at only 118.
Huh, I did not know that. Speaking of things we don't know, let's see if any of our listeners know anything about nano.
Hey, Evan, caller number 1, you're on the air.
Hi, Taylor and Morgan. My name is Professor Huber, and my team and I have been studying nano for a few years now. What kind of questions do you guys have about the archaean?
Hi, Professor. Thank you for calling in. A BuzzFeed article we read said that nano is a parasite. Can you speak more to that?
Sure, Morgan. Nano is characterized as a parasite because it is not metabolically active. It is dependent on small transferable metabolites and energetic precursors from I. hospitalis, which is a sulfur-reducing thermophile. Also, too much nano, or over 10 cells per host cell, inhibits I. hospitalis growth. This provides evidence for its parasitic qualities. Actually, nano is the only known archaeal parasite to date. Nano does not even possess the ability to make its own lipids.
Wait, if nano can't make its own lipids, how does it have a cell membrane?
Good question, Taylor. The cell membrane of nano is actually identical to I. hospitalis. We believe that the host actually generates the lipids for both organisms. Nano are actually pretty picky in terms of their host. They did not attach to any of the other organisms we exposed them to. We are currently trying to figure out the details behind their physical and biochemical connections.
So, Professor, we were talking earlier about the extreme temperature that these organisms thrive in. How did you manage to recreate their habitat so you can study them?
It was actually really tricky. We generate our cultures at 90 degrees Celsius using 120 milliliter serum bottles with 20 milliliters of synthetic seawater medium.
That's really neat. Thank you, Professor, for your time.
No problem. Have a great day.
I think we have time for one more caller before our time is up. Caller number 2, you're on the air.
Hi all, my name is Mary and I work at the Proceedings for the National Academy of Sciences.
Hi, Mary. What do we owe the pleasure?
Well, I spent most of 2003 looking at the genome of nano.
Whoa, that's amazing.
It really is. Some of the things that the PNAS wanted me to share with you guys is that the genome of nano is the smallest microbial genome sequenced ever. It also has few parts of its DNA that do not code for everything. The genome is insanely condensed. When we were analyzing nano's relationship to other archaea, we believe from looking at our RNA sequences that nano diverged before eukaryota and crenokaryota. However, we do not think that nano is primitive. The genome contains modern archaeal genes. Even though nano lacks central metabolism, we have reason to believe that it is derived from an ancestral archaeum. Nano is part of the superphylum Dynamic Programming Meets Artificial Neural Networks, known as DPAN, which means that it is characterized by its simple physiology and anaerobic cycling of carbon and hydrogen.
We're running out of time, but thank you so much, Mary, for calling in. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Wow, what an amazing set of scientists.
I know, I learned so much about nano.
I think my favorite part is that it's basically a parasite that barely needs to do anything for itself. Wouldn't that be nice every now and again?
All right, thank you everyone for tuning in this morning. This has been St. Mike's Science with Morgan and Taylor. Have a great day.